Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is NNRAVIE and today I'll be teaching you how to cut your princess dart normal bodies on your pattern paper, and of course how to use the center front to draft your center back. I know I promised to release this part 2 a while back, but so sorry, I have been busy with a lot of projects, but I'm here to let you know that I'm back fully and I'll be dropping more tutorials. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe. Hi guys, welcome back. So in order to go right into this, the first thing we want to do is to label this part. We're going to call this part our center front. The both part is the center front, so we're going to call this our center and this our center right. Okay guys, so this is our center, which means you can use this part to cut your left and right panel, and this is our center right and of course also our center left. Let me write that down. Okay guys, welcome back. So this is our center left and right, and this is our center right and left, which means you can use this to cut both panels efficiently. So before we go right into it, if you're confused and you don't understand, please watch the previous video on how to draft your princess dart normal bodice efficiently. That is the part 1, and then you can come back here to watch the part 2 on how to use your center front panel to get your center back panel. So without much further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay guys, welcome back. So the first thing we want to do is to cut it out, and I'm going to show you how to cut out so you don't make any mistakes. And of course I'll be using a paper scissors. I already added some guidelines to show you where exactly we'll be cutting. So the first part we're going to cut is our center left and right panel. So which is this part? So you want to cut like this. So the first thing you want to do is to cut the middle. So getting to this point, you want to continue cutting the middle point to this point. Please make sure you cut carefully. Okay, so this is what we have. So the next thing we want to cut out is the excess here. We already have our allowance, so I'm just going to cut this out. So this is what it's looking like now. So the next thing I want to cut is our neck width. So I'm going to cut it like this. So the next thing we want to cut is our shoulder. So guys, this part is very crucial. Remember on our drafting, we extended with 2 inches. Please make sure you cut to the extension. Do not cut to this point and stop. Please cut to the extension. This would really help you when you're joining both panels together and you won't have any issue. So watch carefully. So this is how I'm going to cut to the extension, so you can see, and then I'm going to stop and then continue the center to the extension. When you finish cutting, it should look like this. Removing this part might look like it's just not a big deal, but when you are joining the panels, you realize the importance of leaving this part. So it should look like this. And then the next thing you want to do is to cut out your darts. Remember, we already added our darts in our measurements, so you don't need it. cut it out. It should look like this. So the next thing we want to cut is the other side of our panel. So I'm going to remove the hemming. We're going to remove the excess allowance. Sorry. You can see. I'm going to cut this point. So we're going to do the same thing here and remove this dart. Remember, we have an extension here. So guys, when you finish cutting, it should look like this. It should look like this. So the next thing we want to do is to use this to draft our center back. But before we do that, we have to cut out the curves. So this is how it should look. So the next thing we want to do is to cut out our center back panel. Please don't go anywhere. And I promise you, this tutorial is going to be easy to understand. Stay tuned. Okay guys, welcome back. It's also important to note that there are a lot of methods on how to cut your princess dart bodice. So I just found out that this is the method that works for me. So in order to get our back panel, you're going to need a pattern paper. Okay guys, welcome back. So the first thing we want to get is this part. So I'm going to remove this out of the way so that we can see. We're going to get the center. So before you get your center, you need to mark out your zip allowance. So I'm going to be working with 2 inches zip allowance. So I'm just going to mark it out like this. So this is what I usually do. I just place it before my zip allowance, as you can see. So guys, this is where I need you to pay attention. And then the next thing you want to do is to trace. So we're going to be tracing. So for this part, I'll just be tracing from the tip of the shoulder to the neck length. Because I might change it or I might use it like that. So guys, this is what you should have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get our neck. So this part, you can decide to make the depth longer, you can decide to make it shorter, depends on you. So I'll be making my longer. For the front panel, I used 4 inches, so I'll be using 5 for the back. Connect this part where I marked. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make the line visible so we can see. Okay guys, this is what it should look like. as you can see after tracing it. So the next thing we want to do now, this is the most important part, is to remove the dart, because your back does not have a bust. So if we cut it out like this, it's going to fold at the back. It's not going to be smooth and seamless. So remember that we marked half inch for our dart. So I'm just going to be removing it. So this is what I usually do. Remember, this is the front. There's kind of like a curve here. If you remember, there's a curve here, which is the dart. So I'm just going to remove that curve. Just going to remove that curve. And I'm also going to remove it here. As you can see, remove it here. So like I said, there are a lot of methods on how to draft your princess dart, but I found out that this method works for me. So the next thing we want to do is our zip effect. So I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to divide this line by 2. And then I'm going to come in here by 1.5 inch. I'm going to come in here by 1.5 inch. And then I'm just going to connect a curve from this point to this point to this point. And then I'll do the same for this point. Okay guys, so we are done drafting our back panel. Like I said, there are a lot of methods on how to get your back panel, but I found out that this method works for me. So the next thing we want to do now is to cut it out. And that's it guys. We have our back panel. Let's see. There is no dots. So this is what your back panel should look like. This is what it should look like. Okay guys, welcome back. So we'll be doing the same thing for this one. And remember, the first thing we're doing is to trace. So we're just going to repeat the same step, and for this one we're just removing the dart and that's it. So I'm going to outline it to make it very visible. Okay guys, so we're basically going to be repeating the same thing by just removing the darts. Remember our ½ inch here. I'm just going to remove it. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Okay guys, it should look like this. So the next thing I want to do is to cut it out. So that's it guys. We are done doing our back panel. So this is our right and this is our back. As you can see, it's flat. That's it on how to draft the back panel of your princess dart. And of course, if you did not see the tutorial on how to do that, it's still on my channel, you can watch it. So this is just the easy method I use to get my back panel. And yes, I promise you guys I'll show you how I package my patterns and store them so they don't squeeze or fold. So let's go right into it. Welcome back, guys. So these are some of the patterns I've drafted. These are some of the patterns I've drafted. These are some of the patterns I've drafted. So I'm going to show you how I store them. So the first thing I do is this. You're going to need this. You can get it from Temu, you can get it from Amazon or any store. So I just place my patterns together. Place them together like so. And then that's it. And then I add it here. So you can just get a rope or something. Connect it together. So this helps storage and this helps you when you want to sew. So you don't have to draft from beginning. You just put the measurement, and sometimes what you want to sew, you already have the measurement instead of drafting from the scratch. So I just connect it. Then you can just tie it. But I use this bead, and so I just secure it with this bead. You can use any bead and your rope. And then that's it, guys. These are all some of my patterns. This is not all, but some. And then I just hang it in my wardrobe, or you can hang it on a wall. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name is still NNRAVIE, and like I said, I'm back and I'll be dropping more amazing tutorials. On our next video, I'll be teaching you how to draft a sleeve. It's gonna be one of the easiest methods you can think about. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys on our next video. Bye.